welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. I'm Sunanda Jayseelan. On the show tonight, we are talking all things textile. That is at our Surat Springboard, a series of conversations that we do across the country to connect better with you, the entrepreneur. My colleague Pooja Jain was in Surat to speak with the entrepreneurs, and here's a slice of that panel discussion. Let me first introduce the guests as we dive into that interview.
A bustling textile industry, a hub of economic growth, a symbol of India's textile heritage. Surat, the synthetic textile capital of India, continues to steadily weave the way from fiber to fashion. As the sector helps propel the economy to dazzling heights, what's driving the global textile and apparel market? Is the sector vulnerable to the global slowdown in 2023? Are slowing textile exports sparking fears of job losses? From high-end fashion to streetwear, with its innovative textile designs and diverse fabric options, Surat's textile industry has not only influenced the economy but also India's flourishing fashion industry.
This industry seems to have weathered the storm. So, sir, are the best days yet ahead of us? Or is this industry in sort of a saturation mode, a contraction wave, and now beginning to perhaps be on the path towards consolidation? Sandeep, I'll start with you.
First of all, thank you for inviting me over this panel. As far as when you say Notebandi, GST, Surat has waved through all these things, and I still believe the best is yet to come. Because this textile industry in Surat is so vast that after every 10 factories or 10 shops, you see a different range of items. The issue, if you say with Surat market, is the marketing. Because textile is all fashion. And these days the fashion changes so fast that if you look at the retail counters, every customer wants what's new, and how quick you can manage that new is the, I would say, is the game of the industry now. The quicker you are, the better you are. And I will simply say that we need to be prepared for that. We have vast challenges from China, but yes, everything is being weathered out.
Well, Girish, if I can take my next question to you, sir, because, you know, I think that while the city of Surat produces, I think it's upwards of 9 million, right, meters of fabric annually. I think the overwhelming majority of that is focused on domestic consumption, sir. Right? So is it time we perhaps turn our attention towards international markets? Is that where the next opportunity now lies?
Good evening, and it's a pleasure being here. Few things quickly. First, Surat will never fail. And why? Because of the women. We serve only women fabrics more, 90% of that. And you need more fashion. We are fine with black, gray, and khaki. But on the serious note, when we talk, yes, if we talk about why this market only domestic, because domestic market is growing at a rate of about 2 to 3% every year on our textiles. Now that market is growing well, and it is a low-hanging fruit. So people have been easily following, copying, following the leaders. Any industry would have 10-15% leaders. Rest of them are followers. Same is here. So it becomes an easy to catch in low-hanging fruits. So far as export is concerned, textile export, it was hardly 3 to 3.5% a decade back. But today we are close to 6%, 7%, because indirect export has increased. Garment exporters have increased polyester requirements. Synthetic textiles is the way of life. World over, it is about, 65% synthetic? 73%, and India is still exporting less than 20%. 13, 14. Yan chhod ke.
Right now in the stage of 40%.
40%.
Right.
So we have a market gap,
Yeah.
which is there internationally. Secondly, all these companies which are there, like the Indian multinationals or Indian brands, whether it be Big Bazaar kind and Pantaloons or etc., all these companies are also following the same standards. So that market has increased, and I put it into the same bracket. And that's more of organized bracket. So if I add that, it goes to another 2-3% add-on.
Right.
So that way we have improved on those standardization of products.
Well, Narain sir, to bring you in now, I think the fundamental reality is that we now, as globally, have a drastically reduced dependency on China, and that especially rings true in African markets and in European markets. So, is it now India's time to shine globally?
Well, good evening, friends. Myself Narain. As you have asked me about China's role and India's opportunity in the coming days. Ironically, see, China is a dominant player in synthetic fabrics as on date, but there is no doubt to it that India has a very, very bright future. All the countries globally, means most of them, they want to have a second supplier, and India is in a very good position to be that second supplier, and to some extent it is already there. Good part is that our government also recognizes this fact that yes, we can be a big global player in textiles, and working on those lines. The recent initiative taken by the government of India is the BIS standards, which they have come up for a lot of industries, including textiles. And this, I'll say personally, that will be a big boon to the textile industry in India, as we were lacking standards which are acceptable globally, and through these BIS standards, our quality products, our manufacturing can be of quality products, and once we are capable of making quality products, be it any part of the world, we can compete with anyone, whomsoever it may be from China.
Well, Sandeep, coming to you now, I think a problem that continues to plague the textile market is really inventory management, right? And we read so much about cutting edge technologies like big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Can they be leveraged in the textile context to create improved predictability models so that inventory management becomes next level?
When you say technology as the big data and AI, definitely that will, the adaptability of new things in the industry will change the scenario of presentations, the way you do the business, the way you improve your qualities, the way you design the things. Everything is going to change within the next, say, a year or two, because AI is the new in thing. Every day, now there's opportunities that you make one fabric, you put it on the AI, they give you 100 modes of those
Right.
all things. So what is happening is the integration of new technology into your business will boost the scenario. You will be able to present your things to not only to the domestic industry as well as to the overseas industry in a better way. That will definitely pave a path to your XX growth.
Well, coming to you now, Girish, let's talk, annual turnover, or perhaps where a market is valued versus the contribution of exports. So I think recent research indicates that the textile industry in India is valued at upwards of 30,000 crores, and the exports contribution to that figure is just shy of 800 crores. So Is that ratio here to stay, or can you see that ratio reversing? And if so, in what time horizon?
As Narainji said, we were talking about that India is becoming a preferred second supplier to the world. The journey is still far in the way. We are 80% in textiles in MSME. Being in MSME, using of newer technology is becoming a challenge, and understanding the world politics or world markets is also a challenge. However, that's the flip side, but the positive side which comes in, what Sunny was saying, that the development speed is faster because it is self-owned, ownership-owned driven companies. So it's easier for them to adopt faster fashion trends. However, just to add on to the previous question where we were talking to using AI or technology, before that India needs to start doing forecasting of textiles.
Sure.
We don't have a forecasting center in this country. The world forecasting trend is 18 months in advance. It's being practiced for last 50 years in Europe and American markets. We do not have even standardized standards of garmenting in various sectors. If that step in first, then the second step is use of intelligence and data.
Right.
I'm going to take a quick break on that note. Much more on the other side from our Surat Springboard. Do stay tuned. Back in just a moment. Welcome back. With us here on IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. You're watching our Surat Springboard.
Sustainability is, clearly king these days. And I'll bring you in now, Narain, because I think one of the complaints with the textile sector is that it's not as eco-friendly or future-ready, perhaps, as it could be. So is it that the textile sector is perhaps just battling, bigger wars, and sustainability has not quite emerged to the top of that priority list?
Well, ma'am, growth is there in textiles, and sustainability factor has to be implemented in that growth, and that the industry realizes it very well. As Girish was saying, right now I'll put up a figure. About 80% of the PET bottles manufactured in India are being recycled and converted into fiber and filament, polyester fiber and filament, and being used to manufacture clothes, which is a big percentage.
Absolutely.
The second sustainability factor is recycling of the used garments, which world over no country as on date has been capable of doing it on a commercial scale. There are samplings going on, there is research and innovations on that field, but that will be the real turning point when our used garments can be recycled, particularly synthetic, because natural fabrics are decomposable, so they don't create much problem. But synthetic fabrics, yes, they create a environmental hazard. And I think many governments, including our own government, they are working on those lines. And that day is not far off now when we can say that, yes, garment industry or our textile industry is 100% sustainable. Let's wait for that day.
All right.
I'd like to add,
Please, sir.
Sustainability issue, as much as I know of the world, the amount of water recycling done out of wastewater of the industry in India is far better than all other countries. And people don't know it because it is not being published. The fact remains, our southern India textiles almost works on 75% of recycled water. Same happens in Rajasthan. Surat itself, we have started recycling water from wastewater of sewage or industrial for last 10 years. And we are talking of sustainability pan-India. Even government is putting in extra budget on water recycling. For PET bottle plastics, we have already discussed, which is a good sustainability issue. And on common infrastructures being built around that is pretty fast as compared to any other sector.
Absolutely. And sir, look, India enjoys such a rich legacy in its textile space, but the reality, Sandeep, is that some of our most traditional garments are dying. They are disappearing, entirely. So how can we, as professionals, do a better job of preserving that lineage? Or do we simply resign ourselves to the fact that, fashion is fickle?
That's one of the most interesting point which you discussed. The thing is, as you said, that the traditional designings are dying. I would say they are not dying, but the challenge what they are facing is they are not being marketed well, because as why we say that India is one of the biggest market for textiles is that India has a huge population. It's crossed the Chinese population. So India and China being the biggest buyers of any product worldwide. Now Indians, they are all over the world. The challenge is a particular thing from Rajasthan or Kutch. How do you make that thing reach worldwide? How do you spread out those things? Until and unless they are not marketed in a way, or they are not within the reach of people, those can't be sold. So the industry won't die. I tell you one thing. It needs a marketing push, and nowadays, because of being a lot of things being sold online, online marketing would help all these industries in a very better way. There will be a little stress in the initial stages because of the higher cuts from the marketing agencies, as well as the trust factors. But yes, online marketing would be the next thing for textiles also. These days, when you talk to any MSME in any city, he would say, we have stopped going to the markets to sell. All the means of sale have changed. Like everything is sold either online or by WhatsApp. The designer products are being sold online. And you being a lady, you would be well enough known to this, that half of your buying would be also on the mobiles. How do you do it? So the thing is, things will change. People will have to adapt to all these practices, that yes, we have to sell this way. And any gentleman, any person who's not adopting the change will face the grudge.
Well, I'd love your take, sir. Girish, do you share the same sentiment with respect to, if they're marketed well, there's always a target audience? Or is that perhaps, an over-optimistic point of view?
See, India, as I said, when it is not working on fashion trends, has a lacuna of making a product and then selling.
Right.
Whereas worldwide, the trends and the growing companies which have grown well, whether it be Walmart or Max & Spencer or name anything, H&M or Zara, their trends start 18 months in advance. They know what sampling is done, what texture will work, what colors will work. And then based on that, there's a sample market study. And by the time the first production is done, it is their goods are already sold.
Right.
Right. So that is one area where if we work, India can grow then 5x. Number one, especially in organized market. And organized market is far larger. I mean, giving market size, 700 crore people worldwide, or what we say, 7 billion people worldwide.
Right.
3.5 billion women worldwide. Surat is serving to Indian market, which is 500 million. Right? Where is that 3 billion market study? That's where we can, it's a big gap, which we can fulfill. So far as handloom is concerned, when we are talking about, handloom has a major lacuna of I mean, there is the Ministry of Textile is working a lot on marketing through the board. But however, the product development, I mean, if you would buy a patri sari once, maybe twice, and you would not buy it third time because the
Right.
variations are not there. Worldwide, if you see Mexican handicraft, if you see something 10 years back, today you have a different product there. So the design development going along with traditional strength of technology, which is maybe primitive technology, but yes, handlooms. You go to Kashmir today, I was there last month, the amount of variations that they've started doing in carpets is not that it is only that traditional carpet. And today they have a world as a market,
Right.
right? And it's difficult to find your choice available. So if one state can do, and Kashmir had advantages because there were more funds to support and things like those. However, everybody has to. So what probably one of the solution thinking is that now some of the designers have done. A major group of designer takes the lead and engages himself in building them.
Out of time in tonight's conversation. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. This was part 2 of our special 3-part series from our Surat Springboard. In the 3rd edition, we will bring you personal finance and wealth management tips. Do stay tuned for that. For tonight's wrap. Thanks for watching.